when I saw the graphic scene of all the tampons that they thought they needed to order for the women astronauts to go on the ship. Can you please talk about that scene where you have the graphic of how many tampons?
Sure. I mean, it's just such a funny story, which is that, Sally is going into space, and one of the challenges of sending the first female astronaut into space for NASA is having never done it before, they did not have any idea what would go into the sort of hygiene package that female astronaut would bring on board. And so they knew tampons had to go in there, but they had no idea how many. And they approached Sally and they asked if 100 tampons would be the right number for a 3-day trip into space. And she simply said, no, that would not be the right number. And so for that animation, we just, 100 tampons just to convey, like, we know the number 100, but when you see it visually lined up and filling a screen, you go, that is a ton of tampons. That is far too many tampons. And so we were just told to have fun with it. And that's exactly what we did.
And this is what I'm saying. And I noticed this also with Sly Lives. The power of the designer on the film added so much texture and so much visual interest. And it conveyed visually, the infographic, much more about, oh my God, just like you said, 100 tampons does not make sense until you see how many tampons is 100. And I love that, you were really involved in that aspect of the film. And it didn't have to be like, there didn't have to be anything like that. And that's what's so beautiful about a filmmaker having access to someone like you and the way that you think. And every filmmaker, in fact, if I had an opportunity to provide any coaching to Sundance Film Festival, it would be to have someone like you go in and have a conversation with the fledgling filmmakers that are in there on grant and say, listen, developing a relationship with a graphic designer or a creative director or an art director and working with you on your film, especially one that understands how to sit back on their ego and actually help you bring your vision to life, is something that you should not undervalue, not underestimate. And I think that they're not getting that message. And I think you've done a brilliant job with Sally. I'm very proud that I got to meet you and talk to you. I'm so proud that your wife stepped aside and said, oh, no, you don't want to talk to me about this. You need to talk to my graphic designer. And that was I'm telling you, that was a very unusual conversation that most of the directors I had at Sundance, they were, one director I talked to, she didn't even really know how to approach the conversation, right, about a graphic designer on her film. So I really have to say, I have to give a shout out tribute to Christina for understanding your power in bringing her film to life. So now I want to ask you some rapid fire questions because I love this conversation. It's been amazing talking to you. And I love talking to you on the red carpet. And for those that are not familiar with Alfie Koetter, you need to learn about him. Type in Google, on Perplexity. ChatGPT will come back with an amazing bio about Alfie, believe it or not. And also look up Christina Constantini because she's brilliant. She's got some amazing films. One day I'd love to really see some of those little miniature that you built because I feel I'm like thinking about you as a little boy, like as a little boy building miniatures in your parents' office. And then fast forward to this beautiful, amazing woman that you met and you happen to be married to, who's like, you met the perfect, you got the perfect woman to like realize your dreams, right? Oh my God, that's one of them. Alfie's holding up a miniature car.
One of the cars from the originals. This is
from the originals of what? From the originals of what?
The movie the animated short we did, the originals. Okay. These are some of the sets that we had in it. This is a dumpster. We just made our entire neighborhood in Brooklyn down to the garbage can lids.